Cold open question of the week, Kaz.
What's up, Shoes?
I'm not going to... We have a good segment to start the show, but let me ask you my pre-prepared cold open question.
Okay.
So looking at the SmackDown tag division, getting hyped for SmackDown tonight. It's Friday, special recording day. We got DIY versus the Street Profits and Fraxium against Mellow Don't Miz. Both those tag matches are happening tonight. But of course, there's the great TLC match at SummerSlam. So I'm going to give you all of the names of the people in that TLC match, plus Mello and Miz for good measure. All right? Your question is,
yes,
which of these 14 people, if you had to book one of them into the main event of WrestleMania,
14 people,
who do you pick? Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Andrade, Rey Fenix, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Axiom, Nathan Frazier, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, and like I said, for good measure, I'll give you Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. One of those guys has got to be the main eventer at next WrestleMania. Who do you got?
Next WrestleMania. I could definitely see main event of WrestleMania. Like, all right, by proximity, you want to go Carmelo Hayes because, you know, he tag teams with somebody who actually did main event WrestleMania, and one would hope that this tag team would eventually catapult Melo to success.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird ending on SummerSlam between Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, where if you saw the post show where it kind of looked like maybe they were teasing a little bit of a breakup, so I could see that. But I'm going to go with the dark horse here. I'm going to say Johnny Gargano.
Oh,
Johnny Gargano could be the person who is out of those people who named, who can likely main event a WrestleMania.
I like this. Explain.
I mean, we've watched him be the Daniel Bryan stand-in for NXT, right? Like, as far as like the underdog, undersized.
I thought that was going to be his role in the main roster, pretty much.
You know, I think we all did, and you know, there's still a possibility that can happen. You know what I mean? But I've seen it with Gargano. I've seen it in his matches, and he still, I think, has you know the ability to be a great main event star despite, you know, his size. I think his size kind of plays into what makes him a great main event level star, because as much as it's the land of the giants, and as much as, you know, there's certain people that have a certain look, there's always that one guy. There's always that one underdog. There's always that one undersized dude that somehow squeaks his way or finds his way into like a big level show. And Gargano probably seems like he fits the most out of that. As far as talent is concerned, I feel like Melo and Montez seem like the more likely choices, the choices that I'd want to see. But if I was putting my money down, it would probably be Johnny Gargano.
That's interesting. I mean, I listen, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do think that if he gets there, it's going to be in an underdoggy sort of role. That's his size. But I know this wasn't your main point, but I cannot co-sign the idea that his size is like an asset to him. I mean, it will be depending on how they play it. But dude, I've said it before. If he was 6'1", he'd be a 5-time champion already. You know, he's got absolutely everything that you want in a superstar.
But what's one of the most famous fights in the history of fights? It's not even
David
a
and
fight.
Goliath?
It's a David and Goliath, and you need a David. You need a David to have a David and Goliath. As much as we love heavyweight, superstar, all that type of stuff. Like, every once in a while, you got to give us a good. This guy has no chance. You can't win, Rock, like David versus Goliath type of matchup. And out of everybody you named, Gargano seems like the most bleeding heart, white meat, babyface guy that could pull off
for sure
a very good David, for sure.
I like that pick. I would have probably got. Listen, I think Montez is almost laughably on the cusp.
I'd give Andrade my honorable mention. He'd be my honorable mention. Yeah.
There's so much talent in that list that I think that there's a lot of people that would just be like, okay, like if Triple H decided to push the button, they could just make it happen. But, you know, not everybody is. Andrade would be easy enough. Montez, Carmelo. You said this company with the Miz, but also his association with Braun Breaker, and like he's
his
clearly
age
got
helps.
he's clearly got the ability to be a headliner for the company.
Yeah.
But they've obviously decided to take the kind of slow road with him.
I've got a bonus cold open question.
Go.
That kind of plays into this.
Steal
right?
my gimmick. Go ahead.
I'm stealing the gimmick. I saw a great Twitter question before I signed on. All right, you always hear the term, and then the bell rings, right? Like somebody who has all the bells and whistles or whatever. But as soon as the bell rings, it's not as great as all the other stuff, right? Who is your version of? But then the bell rings, right? Like,
he gets better.
Yeah, like everything else he has going for him doesn't really click. But as soon as he's in that ring, he's magical. And you named like 5 of those guys. You're
not talking about the list we just said. You're just thinking in general?
Just in general. Because 5 of there's at least 4 or 5 people that you named in there that I was like, but then the bell rings and he's like the greatest thing you've probably ever seen. Andrade might be at the top of my list when it comes to that.
I mean, Dawkins is up there too.
Right. But Dawkins isn't a bad promo. Like Dawkins isn't right, like somebody who's,
Okay, so a guy that's just like whatever, and then he's just like an absolute world beater. I mean, you could say that about. I mean, can you say it? Is it the same category as like Phoenix and Penta? Because they don't talk really. I mean, they do talk. Penta has cut a promo or two, but
Phoenix and Penta,
but they're larger than life personalities.
Yes, sort of. Yeah. That does a lot of the heavy lifting. I'm talking about somebody who has absolutely nothing going for them outside of the fact that they're just fucking awesome in the ring.
God, that's really tough. I don't know. Did you have one?
I said Andrade's at the top of my list. I'd throw in
Jelly Roll. Is he on the list? I'm just kidding. Sorry,
somebody said I saw a good one. Someone said Fabian Eichner.
He could always go, man.
He was awesome. I used to call him Mini Cesaro. Yeah. It was like, in the 205 in the Cruiserweight Classic, he was just like,
I mean, Cesaro might be the answer.
Yeah. He's up there. That's crazy. He's still the same. Like, he's still got that same thing about him. Like, felt like when he left WWE, everyone's like, all right, now we're going to see him be treated like a real main event superstar guy, like we all expected him to be. And he's been more or less the same guy in the AEW, just maybe a couple title reigns here and there. But when the bell rings, that dude is one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen in my damn life.
It's tough because usually guys get, if high profile guys get the opportunity to sort of craft just enough character. Kenny Omega, Shibata. I mean, there's like so many guys who,
people said Kenny Omega too.
But he does just enough that you would never think of him that way, right? I mean, he's sort of like, he's so great in the ring that you could sort of weigh it out. But I wouldn't put him there. He's good enough as a character, and he plays the character of a guy who's just really good in the ring. I mean, that's sort of it.
And that's good enough.
Yeah, that is good enough. That's what we care about in wrestling, being just good enough. We'll talk more about this stuff. Let's start the show. Welcome to the Masked Man Show with Kaz, your one-stop shop for all Karrion Kross related content.
Please, God. Is that what we're contractually obligated to do this week by our media overlords?
I just got the bag of cash on my porch. And
got it. I got the Zelle notification. So
first of all, that was a great episode that we did, talking all about Karrion Kross. I was excited. I could talk about Karrion Kross all day long. We'll try not to do that this time. But you're convinced that it's a work. That's what you said before we came on the air.
Work. Yes, I'm still convinced it's a work because there's nothing like. To do this, you have to go all the way deep in. You have to go as far as you possibly can to convince everybody, no, this is really happening. I really don't have. Okay,
let me ask you a question, though.
Yeah.
If it is a work, and I'm not trying to spread seed of discontent here,
Mm-hmm.
But if it is a work, do you think even a work could be affected by the fact that the fans weren't chanting his name on Monday? That like it seems he seems to have just sort of vanished for real.
Which is why maybe you could credit that to the Quebec crowd and them just always being a great, just, in the moment crowd and not necessarily trying to like take over and they're not like a beach ball crowd. So maybe it's that. But I will say this, that is the danger of trying to convince people so much that this is a work or a shoot, because you're also going to get some real genuine reactions. Like maybe Quebec doesn't count. Maybe this Raw doesn't count. But if there's nothing on SmackDown and then there's nothing on Raw again, and the crowd's
in
not
terms
really
of crowd
chanting them,
reaction,
crowd reaction or noticing or even doing something to sort of like tip to, this going on outside of WWE television, even if it's something that Kross does, you do fall into a danger of overplaying your hand. I could see that, but I'm still not convinced. Still not convinced that this is it.
Well, you're right. The danger is it's like the inverse of the Brian Pillman WCW situation where he tricked them into not, just as a work, we're actually going to not sign a contract.
Right.
And then he left the company. And then the version here, I guess, would be like, hey, just to make sure everybody believes it, we're not going to sign a contract. And then when it comes time to agree to sign it, Triple H is just like, you know what? Hasn't really worked out. And I don't owe you anything.
I mean, that would be foul, but I just,
I don't know. I agree. I mean, the other thing is,
I got 10 days. I give him 10 days. 10 days to convince me that he's legitimately a free agent.
But you remember the Summer of Punk, or the WWF Summer of Punk, WWE Summer of Punk, where they said, everybody said, oh, God, you could have kept him out of WWE for all summer long. After he walked away with the title, you can do all these things, have him show up at indie shows, Ring of Honor, like he could just be doing all this stuff outside. They brought him back like 15 minutes later, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, you did it too soon. And you did, but like, there's a limit to how long they can string something along when it's something that they really intend to do, right? To keep people interested. I mean, that has to be part of the calculus too. People are going to forget, the average fans, even the average fans who were chanting his name, are going to forget he exists. And if you leave it all up to Kross, I mean, all you can really do is, like we said last week, you got to do the little things. You got to have him sitting in the audience, but don't comment on them or whatever. Because he's already done Ariel's show. It's a great interview he did there. And I love how, if it is a work, they took the fact that it leaked that there was a contract offer made to him and turned that into part of the story. Like they wouldn't give him the numbers behind the contract offer, so he couldn't sign it or whatever.
I'd say this. If he shows he's got it, I'd do something at Triplemania if I was him. He has history at AAA. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like he was big over there. I would show up in Mexico on some outlaw shit. Like, that's a great opportunity. It's a YouTube show. It's not pay-per-view. It's not on TV. Everybody will have access to it. Like, you can do some real sort of blur the lines thing where like he's on camera, off camera, whatever the hell it is. But like, that's an opportunity to do something is at Triplemania. If there's nothing done there, then I'd be like, oh damn, maybe he really is. Maybe he really did get himself canned. But my BS detector is still pretty high. Still pretty high on this.
Okay. I think it would be too soon. But again, I don't know how you drag it out forever, because again, it's really hard to pull off. No, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Like you said, he did Ariel's show. I mean, like, there's a limit to how many like high profile podcasts or whatever he can do to keep himself relevant. It's like he's got to do another one. If he's not coming back at World's End, he's got to come on the Masked Man show next week and just like talk a bunch of shit about Triple H, just like be absolutely ruthless, because otherwise we're going to stop talking about him.
That's a fact.
And right now we're going to stop talking about him in general. But you mentioned it. Triplemania is this weekend. Do you have any big matches you're most excited for? And
I think it's going to be really cool to see Judgment Day in this mixed tag match that was announced with Finn, and I just love seeing Finn. I love seeing Finn Russell Luchadors. I think they have very similar styles, and Roxanne Perez being in there is really dope. But obviously, this entire weekend is about Dirty Dom. Like the opportunity.
Not Dragon Lee.
Not Dragon Lee. I'm sorry. I mean, even El Grande Americano is going to have his moments as well. But Dom Mysterio, the rocket ship to mega stardom that he's already on, could like turn into a freaking shooting star at this point. Like,
it's crazy.
There's something really cool about the prodigal son returning to the company that his dad and his other dad made famous or helped put on the map in AAA all these years later, and not just coming back, but being arguably the biggest star in the WWE, save for Cody, Roman, and Rhea. Like, he is young enough, experienced enough, has the lineage. I mean, it is as, I would love to see him win the Mega Championship this week. I think not just as a fan of his and seeing, how much I want to see his stock rise as a future solo main event talent, but why do you invest in AAA or this company if you're not going to base it around the biggest Latino star you probably have in wrestling right now, which is the son of Rey Mysterio Jr.? Like, what's the point of all this if it's not to help make Dom Mysterio an undeniable star? You know what I'm saying? So there's an opportunity to have that dude walk out with 2 belts, one being the Intercontinental Championship, one being the AAA Mega Championship, a championship that was held by like Kenny Omega, like not even like a half a second ago. And just and increasing that lineage, So it's going to be a great show. The last AAA show I watched on YouTube was super exciting, and the great thing about their company is that you don't really need to know a ton about what's going on. I went in there not knowing anything. The first show when I came out, and I was like, Mr. Iguana is the hottest thing since sliced bread, and he should have T-shirts everywhere by the time the show is over. You don't need to know much. You could just jump into it and just enjoy the show. But that entire night has to be about Dirty Dom. If he's not on Raw on Netflix, walking out with 2 titles this Monday.
Question though,
you better have a really good reason why you did.
If he's your AAA Mega Champion by the end of the show tomorrow,
yes,
where does he rank on Monday Night Raw? Is he the top dude on Raw? Right behind Seth Rollins?
It's Rollins and might be a sizzling take. I think he's already more popping than Seth Rollins. Like right this
more
second.
Popular or more popping? What did you say?
Both. Yeah, he's more popping than Seth Rollins right now. Like he's more. I think Dirty Dom's more over than Seth Rollins in both ways, as a heel and just as somebody who has wild buzz right now. Like, the cash-in was crazy. The fake injury was awesome.
Yep.
But then, he gets to cutting those promos and he gets to talking on Monday Night Raw. And it just kind of feels like the same sort of energy that he had when he wasn't champion. Like the same sort of like, all right, this is a long promo. Da, da, da. When Dom comes out, or Dom shows up on camera, or Dom is about to cut a promo, or he's just sitting on the sidelines with the Judgment Day or whatever, like that dude has that crowd in the palm of his hands. I think him and CM Punk are the two. It's him, CM Punk, and Rhea Ripley, I would say. 3-way tie of like the most popular guys on Monday Night Raw. And if he comes out Mega Champion on Saturday and walks into Raw on Netflix with 2 titles, I might put him. I might give him the top spot. He might be the marquee name on Monday Night Raw come this Saturday, which is nuts to think about. So
I'm not sure I agree, but it's crazy that we're having this conversation. I mean, just it's wild how far he's come, how over he is in such a short amount of time, relatively speaking. Man, you think he's going to win?
Dom?
Yeah.
Yes, I think he's going to win. It's gonna be him or El Grande Americano, and I could see Dom.
That's
no love
for Vikingo here.
Nope. Vikingo, welcome to the show. You're gonna get some great spots in. You're gonna do that 720 senton. That's awesome, and all those incredible moves. But I'm sorry, champ. Dom doesn't work for Dom, brother. We're gonna need that belt. We're gonna need that belt on Netflix on Monday, Chief. Hand it over quick.
Oh my God, you're ruthless. Okay. No, I think you're right. I mean, I think Vikingo's obviously, well, I mean, even in Mexico, I think there was a feeling for a while that he was kind of more over in the US than he is in Mexico. In terms of just like diehard wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
But he's obviously just an elite talent. I think WWE needs to really give him that platform, both in Mexico and in the US, because he can do such crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't be shocked any direction they go. I think it makes more sense for Dom to win big picture. But storyline sense, it might. I mean, El Grande Americano holding that belt would be hilarious.
It would.
The only thing is that there's just too much going on with Grande, right? There's just too many We got the too many Grandes bit and everything else. Like, you know, I don't. It might just get a little bit overcomplicated. I mean, are they all champion? Are they working together? It's sort of unclear here. But Grande is over, and Grande can work, and Grande,
is it a happy ending if Grande? I don't know. Somebody's got to hit me to the Mexican crowd, because I'm looking at the four in here, right? We got Vikingo, we got Dirty Dom, we got El Grande Americano, and who's the fourth one in this match?
Vikingo and Dragon Lee. You have any?
Dragon Lee.
I didn't even give any love to Dragon Lee, although he's been, he was a big part of Monday's show and everything.
Dragon Lee rules. He is awesome. I don't necessarily see. I don't see him winning this. If I'm in the Mexican crowd, like, what's a happy ending? Is this like a wrestling crowd that's like, oh man, we need to hold on to the sanctity of our AAA championship, because if the title leaves and goes to Monday Night Raw, oh man, this would be bad. Or is it like, it's Dom Mysterio? We've watched this kid grow up. Like, is it going to be like a Cody sort of like moment for them? Because effectively, he's kind of a heel, but it's like, he called himself King of the Luchadors. He came out in Mexico, and they screamed like Justin Bieber came out, dog. Like, Vikingo, if Vikingo retains the title, he might mess around and get booed. Like, there might not be a lot of people like happy about that. If El Grande Americano wins, I don't know what that crowd reacts to, because they loved him there too. Like, he wasn't a caricature in Mexico. Like, they legitimately thought he was awesome. And, so I don't know. It's a weird, it's an exciting prospect, but it's also a weird prospect. We have no idea how this crowd is going to react. But if they're all smart, which I think they all are, Dominik Mysterio as the mega champion. Wow.
You think that
it's a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. But I hate Fatal 4-Ways, because there's
isn't there an element though where you have to like spend some time in Mexico though? Like, is it like, do they have, like, does whoever win have to sort of like split their time in a way that's going to be problematic?
Nah,
I mean, I guess you could have.
They gotta treat Dom Mysterio is gonna be like the Mexican Roman Reigns, bro. Like, he's there maybe like 4 or 5 times a year, but when he's there, it's magic and everybody goes nuts.
No, you can't do that with the belt. I think maybe you give it to Grande. You get. I mean, if you want
Mexico, it's not like he's got to go to like the UK.
If you want to WWEify the whole thing, you could do Dragon Lee and have him be like your co-signed guy. You could give it to El Grande Americano and just leave an El Grande Americano in Mexico full time, right? Just have like the Brooklyn Brawler and El Grande Americano mask at every show or something. But my guess is that the fans down there who are big, all the cheers that El Grande Americano got, it's pretty specific to to the main El Grande Americano that it's really, this is a Ludwig Kaiser crowd, right? They're going to get, I don't think they're not like dupes, right? It's not going to be like, we'll leave you just for whoever, all good, all love to Pete Dunne, but like, just because El Grande Americano has been cheered down there, that doesn't mean he's been cheered down there. I don't know, man. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. We got to figure this out. Brian, see if you can find any like people online who are making picks or who have a reaction to, or who do you think is going to get the biggest pop if they win.
To the same discussion offline. We were talking about this, but I want to bring it up on the show. We were talking about how back in the early days, I don't even want to say the early days of Masked Man Show, but in the earlier years, starting your wrestling company with Dom Mysterio or Hook was a real conversation that people had. And we were like, what's the real sports equivalent of that? Yeah, we had that. A lot of people had that. Fresh-faced, bright trunks Dom Mysterio didn't look the way he looked.
The correct
now.
answer back then was probably Hook. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Hook came in, threw some suplexes, had some badass entrance music, and was like, that's the guy this company should be built around for the next like several years. And for many instances, Hook hasn't really progressed, had some start and stops, injuries are an issue, hasn't been the best look for Hook since. Dom has been the complete opposite. He's legitimately only gotten better, only gotten bigger, only gotten more popular. And we was discussing this, like, what's the real sports equivalent of that? Where it's like, yo, that used to be a real discussion, like in their rookie years. We were like, I think we said it was Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf when it was like when they were both coming into the draft, and everyone's like, oh man, there's these two quarterbacks coming in, these two young studs, like can't go wrong. Who do you pick? You know what I mean? And there's one obvious pick, and Dom's definitely on the Peyton Manning trajectory. Not to say Hook is Ryan Leaf material, and Ryan Leaf's my man, by the way. No disrespect to Ryan Leaf. No disrespect to Ryan Leaf. I'm just using that
This is the most disrespectful conversation that's ever. So just make sure you say no disrespect as many times as possible.
No disrespect to Ryan Leaf. No disrespect to Hook, because I'm a fan of his. But it's just interesting to see the trajectory since then. There was a Hook vignette that dropped on Dynamite teasing his return this past Wednesday. So I was like, oh man, yeah, Hook's back. And I think, looked like he had some new entrance music that put the Hook symbol into the sky and all that type of stuff to send Hook memes, so crazy to think how long ago that was, but not really. It's only been 2 or 3 years since those conversations really happened.
Well, just to also say this, May 13th, Kaz, you said Dominik will main event WrestleMania 42. You still stand by that statement?
I sticks by my story.
he's main eventing Triplemanía, I guess. Yeah,
he's main eventing Triplemanía. I said Dom Mysterio should have won the Royal Rumble this year. Like he absolutely should. He is my odds-on favorite to win the Royal Rumble this year. I'm sure Roman's probably going to win it. I think we're going to get a Roman and Seth thing going on there. But I'm like, all right. That dude's a world champ, bro. He's ready. He's ready, man.
There's no way that he's main eventing WrestleMania.
Dom Mysterio versus CM Punk. Dom Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes.
Dom Mysterio versus CM Punk for the lineal skinny fat championship.
All right, so you tell me. You have to pick one main event for the WWE World Championship for WrestleMania 42. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. CM Punk versus Dirty Dom. Cody Rhodes versus Dirty Dom.
Wait, I have to pick it like what I would book or what I think is going to happen.
You have to pick. What are 4 of these matches? And this is me guessing. If I had to guess, I think one of 4 of these matches is the world title match for Mania 42, barring injury.
Punk Cody.
Punk Cody.
Punk Dom.
Cody Dom. Cody Dom. Cody Roman. I think those are the 4 matches you have there. Cody Roman 3, Punk Cody, Dom Punk for the world title.
I mean, I think probably Punk Cody, but I mean, would be the most likely.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's too packed. I think Dom's absolutely got like a freaking barrel-sized rocket strapped to his back, and he's earned every bit of it. But I just think we're too packed at the top. I do think there's going to be.
He's made it packed.
Hmm?
He's made it packed. Like
Yeah.
he has barged himself into the conversation of top guys in the entire company, and in a way where the women's division has so many top girls. You know, there's Rhea, but like there's so many top girls that you can legitimately see wrestling for titles. Whereas the men has been the Roman and Cody show for many
Punk
years,
and Seth.
Punk has worked his way in there. Seth has worked his way in there. But I think Dom has worked his way in there as well. Like he has, you know, Jay had his moment. Like Jay kicked his way into the main event title scene, and he's there now. And I think the person who's closest to kicking their way into the main event scene, it's obviously Braun Breaker's one, but I think Dirty Dom is right there with him. And in some cases, Dirty Dom's probably more equipped to kick his way into the main event scene before Braun Breaker right now. So big weekend for Dirty Dom this weekend, man. Like I think they have a real opportunity to solidify him as one of the guys in WWE. He already is. I mean, we know, you know, we have a rare insight with this show as far as like press opportunities and, you know, business brands and like all the people that WWE taps for when they want to send them to do shit. And when they start tapping to certain people so many times, it's like, oh, this is how highly they think about this guy. Dom is that guy. He's getting to be that guy. So big weekend for him. Should be interesting in Triplemania this year. Well, this week.
It'll be exciting. That's for sure. What do you think about WWE? I think we knew about this already. We alluded to it. There's some talk even at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But the news came out that WWE is trying to move their Saturday night's main event December show, Cena's last match, from wherever it is now, mid-December to December 27th, to go head-to-head with World's End.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, we had conversations around Vegas about Cena's last match and the actual location and the actual date. This is April that we had these combos. So we all knew that there was going to be a December show, but there was never a specific date. It was always left wide open. But
yes, not set. And everybody's assuming Boston. And we know DC's still in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably
I'm here
other
in DC.
towns. Other towns are probably in the mix if anybody's in the mix. But those are two big cool cities to have it. Meltzer said it separately in a comment about WWE counter programming all these AEW events. Well, WWE really want TNA to become the other promotion, the number 2 promotion, because they can control TNA. But the counter programming, it's really a full court press. Quote, they want Tony Khan out of the box, and they know if the numbers stay good, he's going to get a renewal at a much bigger number, just like they just did. He's already very profitable. The number will make him incredibly profitable, and they'll never get away from him. So they feel like they need to make sure that this is the last contract. What do you think? Could WWE successfully counter-program AEW out of existence?
No.
Or do you even agree that that's the motive? I think it's a fair summation of what's going on.
Oh yeah, I definitely think it's a. Yo, you got to know how. All right, this is how Ari Emanuel kind of runs, right? like Ari Emanuel, you know, founder of Endeavor, TKO, head of the board, one of the most powerful people in the entire entertainment industry, does not play for play. Like he is as ruthless a shark that there's ever been in the entertainment industry. He's the real life Ari Gold. Like I think all this counter programming is to get as much juice for WWE as they possibly can, and it's to get them the best wrestling deals, the best wrestling TV contracts, all that type of stuff. Do I think it's right? Not really my place to say. You know, I don't necessarily think that it's going to be effective, because I do think AEW has a share of the audience, and I do think there's a school of thought of counter programming, bringing more eyes to a product, and instead of just sort of like
sort of Streisand effect stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Like that, the whole that'll put butts in the seats thing. Like, like the more you acknowledge your competition, the more life and juice you necessarily give it. But at the same time, our Emmanuel is a stone cold shark, bro. And if it seems like their idea is to get their properties like AAA and TNA and all these other, with the UFC, like all of their projects, the best sort of deals. And
speaking of TNA,
there's
Sean Rossap reported there's widespread rumors, not necessarily any fact behind it, that Lorenzo Fertitta is going to buy TNA. I don't know how much stock I put in that, but talking about keeping it in the family.
Yeah, that would be. But I mean, obviously, the TV deals right now are what is at the crux of all programming on sports and media right now. You see it on every headline, from the NFL deals, Red Zone, ESPN, obviously the UFC or Paramount, WWE with Netflix and ESPN and all these type of things. It's like all these things, the way I see it anyway, all of these things are done strategically. Or it's like, you're going to want to do business with TKO because look at all the deals they've already cut with all their other properties. And if there's companies out there and streamers out there that are dying for live sports original programming, which, has been proven to be very lucrative for a lot of these networks, like there's only so much to go around. So I could see where they could just be like, they're taking no prisoners. They want to make sure that they get all of the good stuff. You could have whatever's left over. This is just me guessing and just me have an idea of
I think the idea is that they don't want any left over.
Right.
Not you can have whatever's left over. It's like you could, whatever. You can go to hell, as McMahon would say.
Yeah, maybe. It does not, as a fan, and I've said this on the show many times, I love the counter programming. I love being able to jump back and forth between different shows, like Saturday night's main event and All In Day. Like, that was a fun ass day for me. I stayed inside all day, and there was wrestling from afternoon to the dead of night. And it was a great day at the crib to do absolutely nothing. Right. But if I'm a fan of AEW, if I run AEW, if I'm an executive of AEW, I can understand how this sucks. And, you could feel sort of like threatened by that. But I just don't necessarily think that's the case. I think going head to head is actually very healthy for both companies. I think being able to shine a light, whether it's on purpose or by happenstance for other wrestling promotions going on, isn't necessarily going to kill AEW. I think it's going to help not just light the fire under them, but
it's a really weird thing. I mean, I get
fans.
that, especially in the sort of streaming era where with AEW, you still have to pay for the pay-per-views. But it's not like you have to pay for either WWE or AEW. There's it doesn't feel like it should be that much of a competition when it's just like you get to watch. Now, I know the ratings comparisons were a big deal during the Monday Night Wars, but that's all sort of artificial. All this ratings chatter is just boring as hell. It's really about, can you convince someone to not spend the money on your competition, right? And the ratings will affect ad buys and that kind of stuff. I don't mean it's nothing, but it's just like the microscope that we've had these under in this industry for so long is just sort of ridiculous. But my point is, like, no one that was going to get World's End is now going to say Saturday night's main event is on so I can save that money. I mean, maybe there'll be some marginal number of people, but I feel like if it's just two things that you were going to watch anyway, that are available anyway, you're just going to still watch them both, right? I mean, and all they're doing is reminding me when lesser AEW events are on. I mean, I know that's my job, but if that weren't my job, that would be like, dude, there'd definitely be some events where you're just like, is that this weekend or next weekend? It's like, oh, whatever, you make plans. But now I know I can't make plans. There's 2 wrestling events that week or that day, whatever, that becomes its own thing. It takes on a life of its own. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm sure they know, they're smarter than me about this stuff. They want to put AEW out of business. I don't know. And also, I mean, do you think inside the hallowed halls of WWE headquarters, under the giant painting of Andre the Giant, they ever sit around and think, is it possible that business is so great right now because of competition? I know that in the money meetings, they're saying, God, if only AEW didn't exist, we wouldn't have to be paying talent this much. You know? But do you think they're cognizant, at least in the creative or the more thoughtful quarters of WWE, that like the competition is part of what's fueling this boom, or at least fueling WWE creative? I mean, that part I think is sort of undeniable, that WWE creative gets better when it has to. You know, I mean, that's what history shows us, right?
Absolutely. Like,
so do you think Triple
Batman
H
Joker,
is like,
man? It's Batman Joker. It's like, you don't want the competition to die. You need that guy. You need that. You
Yes,
need that person behind you. You need that person in front of you driving you. They need each other. The wrestling companies need wrestlers to thrive. And without wrestlers and without the companies giving places to live lives and create the art and the way they create it, I just think the entire wrestling ecosystem doesn't function as well when it's just one company, right? Like I do think WWE and TKO want to be competitive, but I think if you hook them up to a lie detector test, do they want AEW to go out of business? I don't think so, because a lot of times there are people that they want to keep and there are people that they want to bring back, but there's no place for a long time. There wasn't a place for them to go and work.
Well, they want it to be TNA.
Get money. Yeah. Well, that too. But
think Killer Kross is going to be in TNA?
I would kill a lot of buzz if he does end up in TNA. He's got to go like, I don't know. I don't know where he goes. No more Killer Kross. But I will say, like, it's. I think if you hook up executives from WWE and TKO and have them take a lie detector test and say, "Do you want AEW to go out of business?" They'd probably say no, and it was probably right, because I do believe that a big part of this.
Then why are you counter programming
AEW?
You think they're? Do you think the secret is they're feeding the rivalry because they think there's value to it?
Yes. I do think there's value in the tribalism. I do think there's value in the your team versus my team. I do think there's value in, this is Nick Khan, who grew up.
That's pretty wild.
A fan of Monday Night Raw and Nitro, and he grew up. He's a Monday Night Wars baby like all of us. This is just a new version of that. This is just a hyped up more version of that. Like back in the mid 90s and late 90s and early 2000s, like, yeah, where you tuned your TV to at between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. mattered everything in the world, because they had a little Nielsen box in the back of the TV, and that is what won and lost battles in the business, right? The only thing now, it's different. It's streaming. It's the internet. It's social clips. It's all that type of stuff. You have to be able to be nimble in every single portion of content creation now, because it's more than just who had the better rating on a specific day. So, and I think he's wise enough to know, and I think they're both wise. I think Tony Khan's wise enough to know, because he, let's not forget, jumped out the window saying there's only one room for one Khan in the wrestling business. Like, he kind of invited the competition. And honestly, I think the competition is good for both companies. It may not seem like it.
I agree with you. But it's crazy to think that Nick Khan or whoever is not trying to run AEW out of business.
I think
there is no way that this is one of those, like master conspiracy theories. Vince sent Brett to take down WCW. Like, that's where you're going with this. The WWE is counter programming AEW so that more people will watch and pay attention to AEW. No, the reason why they're doing it, it's not even about ad rate. The reason why they're doing it is so that when we do our podcast the next day, we're not just spending an hour talking about AEW, that we got to balance the time. And then, oh my God, the first thing out of your mouth is John Cena's retired. Right? And then we're 40 minutes into the show and we're like, shit, we haven't even talked about World's End yet. Like, that's why they do it. That's really what squelches it. I don't mean to make it all about us.
No.
Most things are.
I mean, it's everything. Most things are, but everything's got to be a competition though. Like you got to compete for headlines. You got to compete for ticket sales. You got to compete for ratings. You got to compete for TV deals. Like that's what keeps.
Got to compete for world championships.
Yeah, all that stuff. You got to compete for talent. Like there's all of these variables that are in these new sort of like wrestling wars that exist that we still sort of antiquate to WCW versus WWE that don't even really matter anymore. Like people still post ratings after certain shows. Like that really matters anymore. Like it's a whole different metric from which people scale and, believe successful programming is being done, because there's no such thing as appointment television except for live sports. And if you want to count pro wrestling as a live sport, fine, go ahead.
You should
give me that. But it's just different now. And I believe there's just a necessary, I think AEW is necessary to WWE success. I truly believe that. Like,
okay,
there's no boom in this wrestling business if there's not another place.
Listen, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I think they are necessary to WWE's success, or to some level. I mean, they're accountable for a lot of the success that we're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit less direct. I mean, I do think that having a lot more things on the calendar makes the casual fan more aware that wrestling exists and it's a thing that people care about and whatever else. I think that having wrestling on HBO Max or whatever does have a trickle down effect, a positive effect to WWE, because people see wrestling and they think WWE. But I think in general, just having it more in the ether is positive for all parties involved. But I think WWE 100% wants to run AEW out of business. I think WWE, if Nick Khan was in a meeting with whoever's running Time Warner Discovery, if it's still David Zaslav or whatever right now, he'd just be like, are you sure you don't want like NXT on HBO Max? Or like, maybe we'll recreate WCW for you and we'll put that on all the Time Warner channels. Like, he 100% would do that. So anyway, but it is funny to watch all the counter programming, and it's nice, exciting for us fans to have all this stuff going on the same night. I will say this: we should make a pact that, as much as we enjoy the counter programming, we have to be canny about it. If WWE puts John Cena's retirement match on the same night as World's End, when we do our podcast after that, no matter what happens, the first thing we talk about has to be World's End. Right? Like that's the moral thing to do. Pinky swear, pinky promise?
Swear. Swear. The day of
whoever
World's
books
End,
the event first gets first mention, even if it's for 2 minutes.
That will be our Ringer Wrestling Show promise to you, the fan. Whoever calls dibs on the date,
first dibs. You call shotgun. Yeah, you call shotgun. You get the front seat. That's just the way it works.
That's fair. We're a fair wrestling program. That's why.
Did you see any of the Hogan documentary? I'm using the term loosely. That the TMZ did. Yeah,
I saw clips. I didn't see the whole thing. No.
It was. I mean, it was not great art or anything, but it was better than I was expecting it to be. And there was a lot of interviews that were kind of impressive. They had Stallone. They had Mark Henry. They had Jimmy Hart. Unsurprisingly. Goldberg sat down for a long interview, and they had Vince McMahon. Did you see any of the clips of Vince McMahon?
I saw Vince looking like a dude from the Addams Family. I did see that.
Good. I was leading in to see how you would describe him.
Yeah, I mean, look, bro, Vince is
Gomez Adams is the name you're looking
Adams.
For.
That's his name. He definitely had a Gomez look about him, but yeah, bro, you can't. You know how somebody says you look like what you've been through. I think Vince looks like what he's been through in the past.
I don't understand how he looks. I mean, there's a lot of people. I saw some threads on like some of the less plugged in wrestling Reddit boards or whatever. People were like, do you think Vince McMahon had plastic surgery? I was like, dude. Vince McMahon had plastic surgery a long time ago. This is all like accumulation of plastic surgeries and whatever else.
Yeah.
It's crazy though. You know, they say money can't buy you happiness. I guess money can't always buy you the best work. I mean, look at some, all these guys in Hollywood have gotten so much work done over the years. They look the same now as they did 30 years ago. You know, you just got to get the little like
nip tucks.
nip tucks frequently enough, little thread work or whatever, pulling it back. Vince McMahon weirdly looks like a totally different person, and the coloration is just wild. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I remember, man. Like even it's weird. Like even in Vince's last days as like the everyday creative at WWE, he wasn't on TV a whole lot. He'd always be there. He'd always be backstage, walking around, huffing around or whatever. But like, you didn't get to really see him a lot on TV, and he looks like somebody who has not been on the road like he usually is for a number of years. It's just a strange. He's old and like he's probably had all types of exotic things in his body over the years that's kept him alive, on top of the cosmetics and all that thing. Like, hey, listen, at the end of the day, it was kind of interesting hearing from Vince about what he thought about Hulk Hogan. Despite what I personally think about everything, and what it is. It was
Hogan?
No, just yeah, like about Vince, about Hogan, about all these people that were in this. Like, it was just interesting to hear.
Yeah,
a Vince
good on
interview.
them for I mean, they did deal with the bad stuff. I mean, they didn't avoid it. It was interesting.
Is this the first time Vince said anything publicly since your doc? Since the Netflix doc?
Well, on camera, I think so. Do you think that Vince did this because it was an opportunity to do something in public and sort of be the old Vince without the pressure of discussing his own shit?
So, yeah, I do. I do think obviously him and Hulk, that Hulk is Vince probably doesn't exist without Hulk. I do think there's real hurt and pain and loss as far as like a friend, business partner, all that stuff. Like, I think all that's real obvious just on a human level.
Vince has, been real, has been dealing with mortality for a long time.
Yep.
I mean, and if anything has like kind of rocked him in life, I think it was, there were a couple of things. The death of his brother, I think that was during COVID. There and Pat Patterson around the same time. I think he suddenly sort of started taking his own mortality a little bit more seriously. But yeah, I do think Hogan in particular, especially as they've drifted apart, because they shared so much of their kind of youth together. Young, relative speaking youth. Like, they were friends during the Hulkamania era. They were out riding motorcycles together. They were spending all this time together. Locking themselves in hotel rooms to write bad movies together, like whatever. So yeah, I think that's true. I think he did probably feel something very specific about the passing of Hulk Hogan. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, as soon as I saw that he was doing it, I don't think I was so generous. I was like, all those like TMZ rumors too. It's like, if you're doing a TMZ interview and nobody else, what does TMZ have on you? That's but this was actually, I understand why he would have done it. He doesn't have to face up to his own sins, but he gets to be on TV basically playing Vince McMahon, which is something he hasn't been able to do.
A friend of mine hit me, and the reason why I believe you, a friend of mine hit me who was at the Hulk Hogan funeral, and spoke about
Brian
Vince's... Knobs. Well, it's not Brian Knobs, and I will not reveal who it was. But he told me about the Hogan funeral and McMahon's speech there, and it wasn't so much the speech as it was, like you said, one more time to be Mr. McMahon at the funeral, where he led a standing ovation and got a Hogan chant and like just really went into showman Vince mode,
Barnum mode.
Yeah. Like, and you hear all these rumors about new companies and relaunching things and tapping back in with Kevin Dunn and all these other people and Brock coming back. It's like, we can all see a soft launch coming a mile away. Vince is coming back for one more hurrah. Maybe it's not WWE, but it's something. He's gearing up for something.
I don't know, man.
We're all, it's being tested throughout. Like, you can tell they're testing the waters. Not them as in WWE, but I just mean like whoever's in the Vince inner circle of people are testing soft launching a Vince return to the public eye, whether that be
why
through
would
a new
WWE?
company,
Well, listen. I know what the skeptical answer would be, but why would WWE be doing that?
I don't know if WWE is doing it.
By the way, you said the Brock Lesnar thing. Yeah, sure. Okay, Brock Lesnar is metaphorically like testing the waters, but Brock Lesnar, going back to our previous conversation, WWE is not doing Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at Clash in Paris. They're doing it. Whatever show is going to go head, the unnamed PLE is going to go. That's going to go head to head with All Out. That's why they brought Brock Lesnar back to squash AEW.
Gosh,
and my guess is Brock Lesnar is going to do that show and he's going to disappear again. My guess is this is Brock Lesnar coming in to try to take on AEW, and then it's as part of Cena's retirement tour, and then he'll disappear for another 6 months at least, and maybe forever.
Maybe.
But, they got the out here. They can say, "Oh, it's just for Cena's thing," and whatever. But anyway, I don't know, man. If Vince had another promotion, would WWE be trying to put them out of business too?
I feel like they'd have to, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they'd have to. I don't know.
I think that part of this is there's an element to it that's just sort of a warning defense.
And honestly,
you try to go up against us, and by the way, he probably has non-competes like crazy, right? I mean, could he really do that? Who knows? But I don't know anything about that. But
I don't know.
But if he's just like what TV channel are you going to be on? WWE already made sure that you can't go like invest in TNA, right?
Yeah.
You can't take that one over. Which we didn't really talk about as an option at the time, but I bet that was part of the thought process. It's not all about AEW. Some of it's got to be about Vince.
I think Fox will cut a check.
Because the problem with the Vince thing is, even if it's a total failure, which would probably be a good thing in the long run for WWE, like he was never the magician, we always had the power, blah, blah, blah. Even if it's a total failure, that's going to be taking up so much oxygen. Every time anybody mentions WWE, it'll be like, so your old creator is going head to head with you. Every major news outlet, every episode of this freaking show.
Yeah. I bet you Fox has a bag to throw Vince. They threw a bag to Hogan and Bischoff for real freestyle wrestling or whatever.
No, and Kevin Dunn had great connections over there, and great relationships. Although the Kevin Dunn thing, Kevin Dunn obviously owes Vince a lot and is very true to him or whatever. But the thing that people used to always tell me about Kevin Dunn, back when he was working with the company, and people were like, he's going to be around forever, blah, blah, blah. It's like the one thing that people don't get about Kevin Dunn is that he is rich as fuck. He has made so much money, just had so much money in WWE stock, like an old school stock handed to him. That dude, it's not like he doesn't have to work again. Like his grandchildren don't ever have to work again. Sure, it's not as much as Vince, but like Vince has, these rich people like Vince have so much money, you don't even put it into context. Like Kevin Dunn is set. So is someone at his age, does he really want to get back in the game? That's, I think, a valid question. But we'll see. We'll see. I just have a hard time. I think if Vince tried to go and play Vince McMahon, which he'd kind of have to do if he'd start another company, right? He's right off the bat their biggest star. We got to look at that Crypt Keeper face every week.
Well, yeah, it looks like it. That's why he's probably got all that work done. Well, more work done.
I don't think I think he's just settling into his bad existing work.
He's also old, man. Like you're also
he's
allowed
like 80,
to look,
yeah.
You're also allowed to look weird when you're old. What did people expect him to look like? Is my question. It's like
Hulk Hogan looked like Hulk Hogan until the end, pretty much.
Nah, he had that bandana on for a long time, man. There's no telling what he looked like underneath the hood.
Yeah, it's true. No, you're allowed to get old. Vince just looks. Listen, this is part of the problem with pro wrestler deaths. Is that we've said it a million times? Is that they're always sort of the same person until the moment that they die, and you get shocked by that kind of stuff. Anyway, I know you got to get out of here.
Yes.
I just have 14 more things I want to talk about.
Let's bang those out.
I'm going to say I'm just going to say the list of the. I'm going to list the things that we're not going to talk about. That Bailey vignette is freaking awesome.
Awesome.
What else? Javon. Did you see Javon on Tuesday, man?
Yo, he's my favorite wrestler out right now. He's my favorite wrestler.
He was bonkers. That whole sequence in the 8-man match where he was like flying over the top rope and like jumping over people.
Io Sky's the best wrestler right now, but Javon Evans is by far my favorite wrestler to watch.
Javon Evans is for some reason the only flippy, skinny guy who looks like it would hurt if he punched you in the face. Like what he does is working punches.
Yeah,
They're not like
he's not small. That's the thing.
No.
Like he just has like a wiry frame, but he's not small. He's like 6'2",
how much weight could he gain by the time when he headlines WrestleMania? Well,
that's why I compared him to Giannis so long ago.
Will he be 50 pounds heavier when he headlines WrestleMania?
Yes, like that's why I compared him to Giannis Antetokounmpo as a wrestler. It's like you saw his frame and his ability, and you're just like, man, when he fills out, that dude's gonna be unstoppable. And it's like you could see him coming back, and he's already started to fill out a little bit. You give him like 40 more pounds, something like that. Get out of here.
Adam Copeland and Christian are hugging. Love it.
On this day, I see clearly.
And they're fighting they're fighting Christian's old dudes, the former family, or I guess the current family members at Forbidden Door. Nothing particularly forbidden about that. Although I guess you could define it really loosely.
Well, I'm happy to see them both together. To hell with how it came together. To hell with whatever. Edge and Christian has been too damn long. Damn it.
Yeah,
let's see how it looks.
We knew we were going to get there initially.
Do you think we're going to get, does WWE own a 5-second pose? Like, for the benefit of those with flash photography?
I don't know. Do you even keep those copyrights up? Who knows? I bet we'll definitely see some version of it.
We got to get a 5-second pose.
Forbidden Door card is going absolutely bonkers. We got the Death Riders, Gabe Kidd, and the Bucks against the returning Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Darby Allin, Tanahashi, and Kota Ibushi. That's just absolutely.
That feels forbidden. It feels like a forbidden door.
That is fully forbidden.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Hook return vignette up. I thought it was Hurricane when I first saw it online. I was really trying to figure that one out. Let's see what else we got. Oh. Takahashi is Kyle Fletcher's opponent. That match is going to be sick beyond your wildest dreams. MJF versus Hangman is official. Hangman did that thing. He somehow tricked MJF into cashing in his title shot.
He baited the rage baiter.
This is it was like such a good meta. I mean, it'll be totally forgotten by the time the match takes place. But I love this is like the arguments that we always have. Just like, why does he even need to use it? Why does he just like get the match? Which is what MJF tried to do. And then he got tricked into using it, which so they could dispatch with him. What else? I mean, I guess Okada counts a little bit as a Forbidden Door since he's like legacy Forbidden Door. Swerve versus Okada is going to be absolutely sick. Whatever the tag match is going to be great. Whatever the IWGP title match is going to be great. It's all lining up. Ring of Honor stuff, Death Before Dishonor stuff.
We'll be big into Forbidden Door next week.
Absolutely.
All about it.
I think that's kind of about it. Is there anything else I totally forgot? Here, hold on. Give me 10 more seconds. AEW did crazy ratings last. No, Tony Khan. Thank you for the ratings. I already said Lorenzo Fertitta is going to buy. So there's a rumor that he's going to buy TNA. That's interesting. I don't know if he fits with Carlos Silva, but maybe they're already ready to get out of it. Kazo, you got to get out of here. Do you want to get your plugs in before you go?
Yes, sir. Season finale, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is out right now. Check it out with Gillian Wallow. And of course, you can catch my podcast, Say Less with Kazo K. Rosie, live on my YouTube page and my TikTok page. Peace.
Is there a cliffhanger on the season finale of 7 p.m. in Brooklyn?
There is not.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Thank you. Thanks to our producer, Brian H. Waters. Thanks to our EP, Ben Cruz. Thank you all for listening. Finn Balor's going to be okay. Boo your mama. We'll see you back here next week, humanoids.